Hello, hello. We are back with, I was going to say Terranilius. No. The Hellbreaker Sequence. And, yeah. Where do we want to go next, my friends? There are several places we could go.
I mean, my next thing is going to be to try and get rid of the medicine need, but we don't have to do that right away because I was just very involved.
Carl, do you have something that Harahel or the Forgotten Heralds as a whole want to pursue?
What's the last thing that happened with Riva? Was it just that we took out the giant kraken thing?
It was that you took out the giant Kraken thing,
Giant Kraken.
and I know. You guys have to watch the episode. It was a giant Tannerin Kraken monster thing.
That's cool.
Basically, if I remember correctly, they allied, right? Right.
Right. Yeah.
The Heralds and the Hellbreakers are now officially allies once more.
Is there anybody that's not allied with the Hellbreakers at this point?
The New Harmony technically is, well, they decided to be just now. The Recollection is not an ally of the Hellbreakers. There you go.
Great.
Yeah, that's what happened last with them. I know Harahel was continuing to be interested in the Tannerin stuff and all that jazz, but
Oh, right. I was gonna. The first thing we were gonna do was try to look into the cloak more and see like how Riva could use it. Right.
oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah, we could do that. Want to make that roll?
Yeah. Would that be a family move or a?
I believe so. I think it's. It'd probably be uncover secrets. Yeah, so roll plus data spent. Oops. Let me go to family playbooks here.
We gotta.
You have 2 data to spend.
Is it a 2d6?
Yep, 2d6.
I'll spend one. I feel like this is pretty important.
Okay.
No.
Well, that didn't matter at all. Got a 3.
No.
Which means you can't ask a question and something bad happens.
No.
Fun.
That sounds like my entire first session.
You can't ask a question and something bad happens. Who?
So what is it that she was trying to do?
Basically, the Forgotten Heralds were getting together in conference to help Riva unlock the magic of the cloak. Basically, to like help her actually figure out what she can do with the thing.
You know what the bad thing that is that happens?
Yeah. Please tell me.
Non-riders show up and attack them. Right?
It certainly could be, yeah.
Because that just gave them permission to do that. So
the issue is they're actually in my vision right now. They're in the spaceship that has been deemed safe.
Oh, okay.
They could
When
show
they're
up
doing this?
outside and like
That
bar
was
us in.
even a
But...
thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and also like the Dawn Riders would be more along the lines of like you gave them permission to like show up and in Kelith or whatever, right? Like and like hunt down Riva is like by herself, like in my vision right now, like communing with the Heralds. Yeah,
I got you. Never mind.
Caleb,
do you have an idea?
what if we step back a tiny bit in time? Did you already play out the part where the hunters got their hands on a bunch of heralds?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that happened.
You already played that out.
That happened actually before the campaign even started.
Oh, okay.
So just for your guys' sake, the whole thing that happened with Riva and Harahel in their backstory was Riva wronged the Forgotten Herald somehow, and we figured out the reason.
Right.
What happened was Riva and Harahel and some other heralds like were on a mission together to like save some people from the Dawn Riders, and Riva made a major mistake by like totally freezing in battle and not like saving like someone that she should have saved, and the heralds got captured by the Dawn Riders. only Harahel and Riva escaped that whole situation alive.
Okay.
So
now, as far as Riva being in this spaceship that's safe, is she already there, or is that just
yeah, she was there at the beginning of, or at the end of our last session that we did with Carly and I. Yeah. Yeah. So the things that I could have happen, are.
I suppose it could be the same thing. It would just she'd be getting a report of them attacking, right? Like not that they attack her, but that someone calls her and is like, "Hey, they're attacking." If we wanted to go there.
Yeah, I don't think so. Just because, like, I think this would be like more of a thing that would happen when Riva's back in Kelith, and like she gets attacked, you know, in the city or something like that.
Okay.
I'm just trying to look at these options here and see if there's another good thing here. I think maybe what I might have happen is so obviously they try to commune and they can't figure anything out, right? Like they have no answer to this question. The cloak is a complete mystery to the heralds. And part of it I think is just the fact that they're kind of cut off from
they're forgotten
the Holy Father anyway, right? And like this is all like all connected, right? And the heralds have been disconnected from all of that stuff for a long time. And so, what am I? Oh, yeah. I was going to look at the list of resources because I might give you guys like a need or something if I can find one that makes sense here. Let's see. Where are resources? Here we go.
Not engineering. There's one of them where it's like you have technology you don't understand, because I had that one. Maybe they could just realize that they have no idea how to use so much of their stuff, and that there's so much they need to like relearn.
Yeah, that might be part of it. Let's see if I can find that one.
Because if someone came to you and was like, "Here's an ancient relic of your religion," you're like, "I have no idea what this is, but I can tell it's an ancient relic of my religion." That's certain.
Yeah.
Like,
The one that makes the most sense on here is rare materials, which would be the need for that would be your family is feeling the lack of something hard to find: nutrients for their algae tanks, components of an engine or computer, chemicals to fix dyes and leathers. But I don't know if that makes as much sense.
I mean, maybe something's messed up with like the way that Harahel would be. Well, I guess the Forgotten Heralds would be trying to like figure out, like how to make the cloak work. Like something's wrong that wouldn't typically be wrong. Like maybe just with the ship or with like
I did steal all
like
the technology out of that ship.
Right, and I know the only issue I have like making that the problem is it doesn't seem directly related to the cloak at all.
They like couldn't analyze the cloak for some reason.
The them not understanding the cloak is more of like a spiritual deficiency, I think. And so, I know what it is. You get the need morale. Because, like, your faction's like, wait a second, how do we not know this? Like, this is bad. Like, we're spiritually disconnected from God and from this magic that we used to have so much power over. So, your family has descended into backbiting, factionalism, and despair. Any attempt to organize them into a group action is likely to run into complaints, sabotage, or apathy. So basically, the faction starts to descend into, like, yeah.
Wait, isn't that a leadership need? That was the description of leadership, wasn't
it? No, that's morale.
Oh, because that was the description that I...
Description for leadership is... for a need of leadership is it's unclear how your family is meant to operate. There's no clear voice managing discussions if you have a clear idea of what they're meant to be doing at any one time.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's probably what it is here. Is you get the need morale. because you're the faction, everybody just starts fighting each other. Like they're like, it's your fault. Like they're blaming each other in a lot of ways for various reasons. Like the leadership is starting to be blamed in some sense for like the direction in which the Heralds have been going recently. You know, there's a whole bunch of different things going on. So the Heralds start to like fall apart a little bit. And Riva basically leaves in despair because she's like, well, I'm no closer to learning this, and the Heralds are still all my allies, but now they're not as helpful to me as I hoped they would be. So that's probably what happens, yeah. Yeah. What's next? Yeah, we could pursue the thing with the Herald that's been captured. The New Harmony could try to get in contact with the Hellbreakers. Hell could, you know, continue to try something to help Riva.
I'm cool with any of that. I mean, Carly's thing only took like 10 minutes, so if she wants to do something else about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's take a look at the threads that are going on with your stuff. Yeah, you've been focused on the Tannerin a lot. I mean, you could search for some way to like mitigate one of those needs, right?
Right.
I mean, we could literally
Figure
do
out some way to unite them again.
Yeah, I mean, you could literally just do a scene. Like we could zoom in right after this like faction starts to descend into backbiting, and you could literally have Harahel like try to make some sort of speech or gather up some heralds and try to convince them that we need to stick together. Like that could be a thing.
Yeah, I just don't know what he'd say.
Mm-hmm.
You guys,
What do you say, David?
just kill with you guys. It's fine. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Taking a look at the rest of this stuff. Yeah, we could go to New Harmony or Perihelions. Yeah, Carly, if you're unsure on the direction there, you can think about it, and then we can jump to something else.
I'm just looking over my
Mm-hmm.
notes
Sure.
for the heralds again.
Which one do you want to jump into something?
Well, I wouldn't mind doing the. I mean, I could just
Torturing a herald?
Yeah. We don't even necessarily do sync that. I want to just make a roll.
I want to spin up a good character for that.
I mean, there could be a whole thing here, yeah, but it would depend on some things. So yeah, what are you trying to do here exactly? You're just trying to analyze the thing so that you can fix your medicine problem?
So, yeah, or, yeah, I mean, analyze as much as is required, yeah, to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like uncover secrets, right?
Yeah, sounds perfect. Hellbreaker Sequence. Spent in this one. How many data?
You don't have any data yet because you spent that one. You just have to roll it straight.
Although the questions on these, I feel like I already know how. Well, no, I guess not. All right. So I just rolled 2D. Right?
Yep, 2d6.
Yeah.
Of course.
Can't roll like a normal
Perfect.
most of the time,
Oh, this
unless
is
I have
fun.
3 dice and +3.
So you know what I think happens? All right, this is what we're gonna do. Okay. So, we're gonna zoom in here. Where are you guys? Well, here we'll go through the story moves one at a time. So, where are you on the map? Where are you studying this? Azimuth? Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yes.
No.
So you're on Azimuth. The main characters present say what they're there to do. So obviously Baruz is there, I assume.
Yeah.
And you're basically just overseeing the interrogation and analyzation of the Herald. Okay. So what does this like analysis chamber look like? Give us a picture of what it looks like to be on Azimuth in whatever room this is.
Well, so to be on Azimuth is all like Garden of Eden and stuff, but I think we're probably in Azimuth. So instead, it's like
right,
sort of.
Because I'm imagining like ghostly, sterile white hallways and stuff,
Yeah,
right? Like
mostly. I think maybe like they're kind of bright a little bit, but yeah, mostly like white hallways that are sort of non-distinct and shifting and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably one that is more solid than the others. So like if we look around, a lot of them are shifting around, but this one's more stable than they did.
Yeah.
And there's probably some like equipment and like hard light structures and stuff sort of around.
A giant screen that's like obviously picking apart its biology, like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Other players may create or pick up quick characters to fill out the party. Who wants to make? There's going to be a thing that happens here. So who wants to make? Well, first, I guess, would anyone else's main characters be here? Would either of your main characters be here? Probably not. It doesn't make any sense. So
You guys could play Nissa and Taller if you want.
Yeah, that's true. You could
It's an option.
bring them up as quick characters. But yeah, it sounds like whoever wants to making quick characters for this. And luckily we have
Set
two.
this one out. I know Josh
empty
wants
slots.
to.
Yeah, so go ahead and take a look at that quick character thing and run through it real quick. Are you like probably the obvious conclusion, Josh, would be like you're like the scientist who's like going through the analysis. It's one angle at least.
Is Josh talking?
No, he's chewing.
He was chewing. He was finishing chewing.
I was like,
am I
not hearing him talk? Like,
I took a massive bite of cereal just before the question came out of whether or not I wanted to make a quick character. And so I'm sitting there trying to gesticulate, be like, yes, please, I want to make one.
I didn't have
I
the
can't
camera
speak
up,
right
and
now.
I felt like I was hearing one side of a conversation, and it's happened to me before in calls where I just can't hear one person. For some
Right.
reason. So I just wanted to make sure.
But yeah, so first you go through the stats there, and put down whatever you want for all that stuff.
+1, 0, 0, -1. All right.
I can copy this over for you as we go.
Okay. Let's go with a +1 lore. Zeros in steel and force.
Do you guys get any
-1 in
bonuses,
sway.
David?
It is +1 to either lore or sway, and then you also get +1 for your doctrine, but you have to choose to either be obsessed with something, have a weird quirk that you do every single day, or have something that you need from other people to like satiate yourself.
So what was the first thing you said there?
The first bonuses or
Yeah.
first option? So +1 to lore or sway.
Okay.
And then you can have +1 to anything else except that.
Okay.
You also have
Yeah, what do you want to put on for lore or sway there?
Might as well take it on lore.
Yeah. Perihelion scientist.
Perihelion scientist. Where most people use the hard light constructs to be like beautifying themselves. Everything is focused and precise. I keep the quadratic formula right here in my bicep so I can remember it when I need it.
Oh my. Yeah, so do you want to do the doctrine thing? Let's take a look at that. What it says exactly.
Thought I had glasses for this. Hang on.
Yeah, every deathless character starts with an extra move or +1 to a stat.
right, yeah.
I do.
So do you want an extra move or +1 to a stat?
What options do I have for moves?
Yeah, so the moves are oh my gosh. The moves are Reanimator, revive characters who forfeit their death move at the cost of 1 sway. Mercenary, in battlefields, you roll Familiar Face and find a path with lasting advantage. Diplomat, you can spend 1 treaty to roll Familiar Face and unearth Forgotten Lore with fleeting advantage. Chamberlain, when you roll to call for aid, you are considered to have a relevant backstory with every character. Or Chauffeur, you gain advantage on diffuse rolls while driving a vehicle for someone. You automatically get one of those, but you can either get one more of those or one of the roll moves that is in the quick characters handout. You can get another one of those if you wanted to, I think.
Is there a handout for quick characters?
Quick characters, it should just be on that sheet right there that you're looking at.
Oh, it's right there.
Yeah, there's 4. You get one of those 4
Oh, those. Okay.
roll moves, yeah. Probably an agent, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with agent.
Mm-hmm. And obviously it would be like, what's your narrow field you're an expert in?
Would be exo-robotics.
Okay.
So specific.
Or no, xenorobotics.
Yeah, it
Sorry.
would be xenorobotics, yeah.
Not exo-robotics. What am I talking about? I know this stuff.
He's reading the wrong forearm.
Yeah,
That was my doctoral transcript. I'd take 1 class in in exo-robotics. That was weird stuff.
so you can either, if you want to, I'm fine with you like choosing another one of those roll moves or another quick move if you wanted to for
Or
that
you can just have
doctrine
+1
stuff.
to a stat.
Yeah, or you can just do +1 to stat. One of those 3 options.
I kind of want to go with outsider.
Yeah.
Like a stat. You can take 1 hard roll it with advantage. I kind of want to do something weird with that. I think I want to do lore with that one as well.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have to choose either place an object or a person that you're obsessed with, or a weird ritual you do every single day, or something you need to take from people to like sustain yourself.
Yeah, so that
ritual,
extra stuff that you get, you have to choose one of these doctrines. So yeah, name an object of your adoration, a person, place, or treasure you would rather die than see it harmed. Describe a set of actions from the past and repeat it in ritual fashion whenever possible.
Oh, that's what it is.
Or name one thing you must take from others for consumption.
Oh, I like that.
Oh no.
Oh,
That one's called
It was-
Predators of Dust.
what was the one about repeating as often as possible?
Echoes of the past. Describe a set of actions from the past and repeat it in ritual fashion whenever possible.
The one for Beirut is he takes a wicker ball and lights it on fire in representation of when they were initiating the attempt at basically when they caused the fall, when they initiated the sort of technology within Azimuth to start doing the terraforming.
I don't think you've ever done that yet, though.
I haven't on screen.
Yeah.
No.
Often
that's
as
it.
possible, huh?
Yeah, I feel like that's probably with a grain of salt. I imagine if you did it literally every waking second.
Obviously.
You would be surprised what I'm capable of there, David.
I'm sure.
You'd be surprised. That sounded like a challenge to me. Sounds like a challenge to me. I'm just trying to. I'm already trying to compose what I want to say. Because you know I'm going to say it the same way every time, right? I think this is going to be one of those moments, kind of like Ken Ham's billions of dead things buried in rock layers laid down by water all over the earth.
Right, yeah. Perfect.
I just need to come up with something that's got
One phrase that has a
similar
long...
number, a similar
Yeah.
number of syllables about like xenorobotics and the salvation of everything. Or... that one's actually harder than I thought.
You just...
Mainly because I can't remember the name of the character from Star Trek that I'm trying to pull out at the back of my memory.
Yeah.
Remember,
If it's not Data, Spock, or Kirk, I don't know who it is.
Data's creator.
Mm.
And I can't remember his name. Even though I was literally just watching episodes of Picard not all that long ago, they keep talking about him. Not Daystrom, because Daystrom was the school. Maybe I'm not going to go with that one. That seems too hard to do in a moment's notice. All right, what were the others? I need to take something from people, all right?
Either name one thing you must take from others for consumption, or name an object of your adoration, a person, place, or treasure you would rather die than see it harmed.
It's the easiest one, but
I mean, the easy answer is the Azimuth, but like,
Yeah, it
that's
probably
like
couldn't
the
be that.
obvious one.
I mean,
Yeah,
I guess it
that's-
could, but
that's the one I have for Eskander because he's the leader of Azimuth and a bunch of other stuff. But
that makes sense.
Yeah, I like the idea of taking something from someone for consumption. But like, I want it to be really gross. I just want it to be weird.
Fingernails?
Just do, like, saliva or something. Just have to have like a saliva sample from every person you meet.
That's thickening.
Yeah, exactly.
That's incredibly thickening. Like, even from someone who created characters with no eyes, that's incredibly thickening.
I mean, at least you're not a vampire where you eat for consumption from people as blood.
I mean, there's an option there.
I mean, yeah, I think that's probably what they were going for when they made that option. But
Memories. Can I steal their memories
Yeah.
for consumption?
I don't know how you would do that with our technology, but sure.
Can I have a little bit of technology from the recollection to do
Well,
that?
Oh yeah. Right.
Or is that too far? Stepping too many boundaries? Because like,
Yeah, I feel like it would make total sense for a recollection person to have this, to have that. But I'm not
That's
sure.
fair.
There'd be a couple of other steps for you to have it, I think.
Okay,
Specifically
that's
the
fair.
memories thing, yeah.
what's the family code, David?
What do you mean?
Like for Rebel, when I break the family code, roll plus steal.
Oh,
Is that like,
family code.
that would be like, I'd need to be working against you, and that doesn't really help. So let's not do that. Um,
I don't really know what the answer to that question is either. So
yeah. One more time on my options for outsider, and then I'll pick one.
What do you mean the
doctrine options?
Oh, the doctrine options. Name an object of your adoration, a person, place, or treasure you would rather die than see unharmed. Describe a set of actions from the past and repeat it in ritual fashion whenever possible. Name one thing you must take from others for consumption.
I think about every 15 minutes, I have to check the watch tattoo on my wrist.
Mm-hmm.
And then, depending on what's going on, I have to do a recitation or I have to solve a math formula. I have to stop every 15 minutes and solve a math formula from a list on my wrist. And then completely stop and do the whole thing, front to back, work the proof.
Obsessive compulsive thing.
Oh yeah, at every 15 minutes. Except when I'm asleep. Then I do it every 1.5 hours, because that would be a third to only sleep 15 minutes at a time. Who doesn't want that?
Oh my. Okay. But then you also get one of the quick character moves. Revive characters who forfeit their death move at the cost of 1 sway. In battlefields, you roll familiar face and find path with lasting advantage. You can spend 1 treaty to roll familiar face and unearth forgotten lore with fleeting advantage. When you roll call for aid, you are considered to have a relevant backstory with every character, or gain advantage on diffuse rolls when driving a vehicle for someone.
If an unearthed forgotten lore, I can spend treaty for that?
You can spend 1 treaty to roll familiar face and unearth forgotten lore with fleeting advantage.
And?
As in, either of those.
Oh, they
not
meant
at the
lore.
same time. Yeah.
Well,
or might imply that you can only choose one of them when you take the move. So
fair.
They should have just said either.
Sure. It seems weird that I, as a quick character, can have control over treaty spending.
Yeah.
But mechanics aside, that's the choice I make.
Okay.
Unearthed forgotten lore seems useful. Oh, because they can spend treaty instead of data. That's interesting. No? You just roll plus lore. Huh.
But you get advantage, basically, is the idea.
Okay.
All right. Just writing that for my own benefit so I can copy it over easily.
Oh, that's a diplomat option. That makes sense. Makes sense for that to be a diplomat option because familiar face would be worth treaty.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit funny that forgotten lore is in there, but
okay, cool.
I kind of expect this guy to sneeze, or this guy to die the minute somebody sneezes in his direction. So,
all right. So, what is your relation to Baruz? Just coworker?
I think I'm a respected expert in my field, very respected, and you gotta come and ask nicely and offer a grant. You can't just walk in here with the best specimen, the finest specimen I've ever studied, and expect me to, okay, fine, I'll touch him. I'll work with him. Just stand back.
Perfect. And then looks?
Yes, that's the answer.
Yes, yeah. I have looks.
Looks, yes, I have those, yes.
I don't like talking about them now because it does
Pretentious.
me no favors in life.
So I assume he's masculine?
Yes, masculine, Worried face, I suppose, is one way to describe this.
Squinting eyes.
No. I have shifty, so calculating. No, calculating it either. Squinting is close enough to absolutely the opposite of what I'm doing right now, but.
And then, yeah, body.
Bony. He's so very bony, because of course it's bony.
Perfect. What's your name?
What with your, do you have a particular...
It's like Persian, I think.
Oh, boy. All right.
Yeah, Persian. I think it's the same naming scheme they used for Gaming for Meal. So it seems I have a theme. I don't know. Who would have guessed?
Yeah, the people in the desert had Persian names. Yeah.
Yep.
Dr. Darvishi Nasser.
Nasur.
Nasur?
Yeah.
Nasur. I'm going to use a schwa there because I can't pronounce it with my teeth the way they are.
Cool. All right.
Dr. Darvishi Nasur. I didn't work most of my life for you to not respect the title.
All right. So, characters select gear according to their family's assets in the established fiction. What do y'all have from their stuff?
I mean, right now, just my gold fire jewelry stuff. Because, I mean, I assume I probably have my chariot, but it's probably, like, parked somewhere.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously I have my body because I can't really get rid of that. So.
What are the resources again?
Voice amplification torque, which is the set the air on fire thing. I'm writing all this in chat.
Basically just that chariot because your body's made out of nanomachines and you can't really not have that.
Yeah, everybody pretty much has the nanoswarm physique, which is mobile, implanted, comms, and precious.
Now Swarms really did a mistake on my face then.
I mean, you could probably change your face if you really wanted to. Probably
But
not
like
at will, but
that would mean being unconscious for longer than 15 minutes.
That's true.
Or longer than an hour and a half. So can't do that. The equations ain't gonna solve themselves.
That's true.
You also you get a precious tag.
After all.
So what of those do you want?
I'll go with the nanoswarm physique because that's just fun. I don't think I need a voice amplification torque. Goodness, it's hard to talk like that, and it's probably hard to understand, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit. I mean, I haven't had issues so far. It's just.
I don't have a solar chariot right now.
Yeah, you're in Azimuth. Neither of you would be able to fly it anyway.
Yeah.
I don't like leaving the ground or the Azimuth ground.
So, we also have Tool Up. When you zoom in on a character, you may equip them with any of their family's assets, customized to suit their circumstances. For each of your surpluses, pick a relevant benefit. So just one. Related to rare materials.
What kind of tags can you put on
gear?
Yes.
There should be a handout that says gear.
Maybe I'll give Beirut just a different thing on his body, basically. So like Okay. So this is the first time we've seen Beirut since he stopped being infiltrating, and now he has Regal on his outfit.
Nice. So he's been like in kind of utilitarian.
Yeah, he was in I'm not a perihelion mode, and now his skin glows softly, and he has like gold eyes again, and he like
cool.
Probably a little taller.
Mm-hmm. So we see this bright white like analysis chamber, and this herald, who is pretty standard, blank face, sort of like armored carapace physique. It's probably one of the warrior types. Is stretched out on whatever analysis table you have, and is being picked apart. You're not even entirely sure, Darvishi,
Dr. Darvishi,
Dr. Nasur,
Thank you.
that like how they kept him from like just teleporting away, because there's all sorts of stories about the heralds just like disappearing and reappearing and all this stuff. For whatever reason, this one can't do that anymore. You're not entirely sure what the Dawn Riders did to them or someone else did to them to like stop that. But it doesn't seem like it can do that. So it's at your mercy.
The biggest concern I have is that someone's managed to jam the disapparition unit. And the last thing I want is there for that jam to come undone because I'm fiddling with it.
Yeah.
That being said, is fascinating construction. Like, the mechanics in here, the weight distribution on such lightweight material, only been crafted by the finest engineers, the most divine of fingers, assembling all these pieces together. Will you hand me that sledgehammer? I'm going to need to get through this particularly hard part.
So do you have like assistants, Dr. Nasur?
I think he's just waving his hand out in general, hoping Beirut will catch a notice.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, Nissa looks at you, Beirut, like disbelieving, like, are we really actually like doing this?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he just looks at her when he asks for a sledgehammer.
Yeah, she rolls her eyes and goes over and grabs whatever hammer you have nearby, hands it to you.
And he says to the doctor, he says, "Doctor, I understand that this is a marvel of engineering or something, but remember why we're here. We need to find a way to reverse this degenerative virus or whatever it is that this Herald's technology has inflicted on us. Sure, you've not forgotten that, but
of course. So let me explain something, because it's important here." He grabs the chisel, points to the actual sledgehammer on the wall and not the, smaller ball peen hammer that Nissa picked up.
Yeah, she
that one, the big one.
Her eyes go wide, and she just walks over and it's like, "Are you what?" Brings a giant sledgehammer over.
He takes this real scrawny and yet obviously has no problem holding this hammer. Plants the chisel, lifts up the hammer. It's like, these things, bam, have a particularly good, self-repair mechanism. Bam.
So
it's not
question,
damaging at all.
Did you manage to put the Herald into some sort of like coma, or are you literally just operating on it like as it's just alive on the table, basically?
I guess by the time it was in some stage of disassembly, I assume that I was able to restrain it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whether or not it's still awake, I suppose will be up to whether or not it makes good comedic timing.
Sure.
Actually, no, I think it's as close to like sleep mode.
Yeah.
As these things have, like some kind of a self-defense shutdown mode.
Yeah, sure. It's
Like,
basically in
probably-
like some sort of like meditation
Yeah.
trance. Is
As
probably
much
what it is.
as the perihelions are willing to be cruel like any good bad guy, they also have to at least be able to justify that to themselves.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
fair.
probably not awake unless it like has to be awake in order for us to figure out what we need to know. And
Yeah.
that seems probably not like it's the case.
Mhm.
Mhm.
What are the default traits on the
The Lost Heralds, or
on
Friend
these heralds? Yeah,
The default
like
traits.
on their bodies. Yeah.
What do you
they
mean by
have
default
specific
traits?
like do they have like suit traits?
Yeah, like
Tags,
when their
tags.
defense tag.
Oh,
What is that?
What are the
yeah.
defense tags?
I don't know if they have anything like inherently necessarily. Like
So
usually
they don't have an
have
option akin to the nanoswarm physique.
No, they have
Okay.
blessed jewelry is how they are defended. So
Okay.
whether or not that you have, I assume those are probably taken off. It's just their body otherwise. Some of the models, like
Okay.
the warrior models, are they kind of like look sort of like Parshendi in the way that the armor kind of like almost grows out of their body. But yeah, it's not technically actual defense. It's just part of their skin, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, the only like inherently different thing about them, like according to the tags, is the fact that they can like be summoned by threats to holiness. But apparently, it's been deactivated on this guy for some reason.
Okay. Unless our very presence is an affront to holiness, especially my faith. And
Possibly true.
oh, hold on 1 second. Okay. Pulls out, kind of holds up his forearm, pulls up a little, there's like a little tablet on a stand. He just kind of reaches over, pulls it up, and starts solving out an equation on the tablet surface. Copying from his arm. And then and divide the whole thing. Take the integral of with regards to Bear's not react at all to him just totally sidetracking himself.
I mean, he just assumes that you're doing calculations in regards to the guy.
Right.
Have you learned something?
Oh, well, not in the 48 years I've been doing this, but I'll find the secret someday. Maybe today.
I hope so, for all of our sakes.
And the whole thing resolves down to 7. Well, that was unhelpful. Try it again tomorrow.
Nissa whispers
Pops
to
the
you.
pen down, shoves the tablet across the room.
Yeah. Nissa whispers to you, Beiruz, are you sure there's no one else we could have gone to?
If there was someone else, do you not think we would have gone to them?
Yeah.
He turns back, picks up the chisel and the hammer again, wedges it between a crack in the carapace, tap, tap, pop. Gets one of the pieces open.
Yeah.
And just starts probing around to see kind of what's inside.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're probably just going to make a roll here now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You probably
He's
want
trying to find the whatever
Forgotten Lore?
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking. Yeah,
That's probably what you're doing.
we'll go with once I've actually got a roll, I'll come up with what specifically it is.
Yeah. Do you want to spend a treaty to get advantage on this?
Roll plus
No,
lore.
No, if we have treaty.
I could take 1 harm to get advantage on my lore.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think he's gonna do that.
Okay. What does this look like exactly? So it looks like the quick character. It's drained is the first thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Drained.
Actually, you don't even need to do that because this is your expertise.
Oh, that's right. Xenorobotics is my expertise.
Yeah. So
When I use my skill,
reveal a
my
secret
skill
about the
reveal-
situation
reveal a
and
secret
get
about the
yeah.
situation, get fleeting advantage acting on it.
go
So
ahead
I
and do that.
know that they are they entirely robot or are they like robot
So they are.
biological technological?
So as far as I remember, Carly, right? It's like someone put a soul in a robot.
Yeah.
Like they are legitimately like golem construct sort of things.
Okay.
But they are souled. They have like thoughts and feelings and sentience. But their bodies are entirely inorganic.
Okay. And what is the nature of this sickness I'm trying to cure?
Basically, it was like the perihelions tore apart their ship and took a bunch of weird technology from the Herald ship, and whatever they brought back with them started some weird like alien disease among them.
Okay.
Basically, we were allergic to the stuff that made it so that we could use our technology, and so now we're trying to unallergic ourselves to that.
Yeah, so maybe there's some secret within, the Herald's inorganic inorganic. What's the word?
Composition.
Yeah, composition.
Construction.
Thank you, composition. That like will give you the secret to how you could like mitigate that weird virus.
Okay. All right. Do you already have fiction around this, like the nature of the virus and stuff, or can I?
You can make up stuff. Yeah, I don't really
All
have
right.
any particular
And
ideas.
all we know is that they caused it, and it was because
So-
this stuff.
Yep.
Forgotten Heralds are immaculately crafted, soul-bearing robots.
Yep. And
So
they
they're
come
going
and they
to-
come from a different planet.
They're going to need some flavor of self-repair.
Yeah.
So, in a very similar way to the people of the perihelion themselves, the Forgotten Heralds have nanomachines.
Yeah.
That act as their regenerative system. So when damaged, a herald will release these nanomachines into little capillary little capillary tubes that run all throughout its superstructure, and they will very quickly converge on an injury site and begin depositing matter over the surface and reconstructing whatever was damaged. Each little nanomachine has the capabilities of basically possesses the entire blueprint for the specific herald and can reconstruct any part of the herald's body except the reconstruction core itself.
So one thing to note about this, though, I think I think that's fine.
It's like a long, slow biological timescales we're
Yeah.
talking. So
Yeah.
like I get a cut, it repairs itself.
The
Not
one thing,
like-
the one thing I have to note there is that technically, Harahel, because she is the machine playbook, has a thing on him that like the main move is synthetic being. And one of the things it does say on there is you're made of custom parts, so you need professional care to heal any kind of harm. But technically, because Forgotten Herald can be of any playbook, we can just say that's particular to Harahel, right?
Yeah,
he was
maybe-
his nano machines were damaged in some way, and so he can't self-repair the same way.
Or he has
But since this
probably
is
been
like the
custom
warrior
equipment.
type, that
Yeah.
probably makes more sense.
I mean, or he has custom equipment he's chosen into.
Right, because it sounds like you have that because like you're special built, so maybe they replaced that with something that makes you way better doing something else.
Yeah.
Because I think like
And also, what
This-
Carly was pointing out is like the warrior models probably have more self-repair options than the messengers
Yeah,
would.
because
Yeah.
Harhel's mainly just a messenger, so
the expectation is that
he'd have more availability to just go and get repairs.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And it's slow time scales, and maybe they can't fix everything, but they can fix a lot. So these nano machines are, in fact, fundamentally incompatible with the nanoswarm physique that most perihelions have. But they recognize the technology or some element in the technology, and they've latched on. And so they will essentially latch on and render the surrounding nanoswarm malignant, forming basically tumors
Okay.
that are generated that are generated as the nanoswarm physique just as the nanoswarm is usually it's not it's malignant in that it's a failure mode, like they're clumping together in ways that cause obstructions or pain or growth. Occasionally they may mutate depending on the particular malignancy of the little, as one nanomachine attempts to reconstruct the other one into a more fitting, into what it thinks is the right thing it should be. And so the problem is that the little nanomachines from the heralds are in large enough quantities self-replicating. So if it decides that it needs to make more, then it'll call together others of itself, and they'll begin tearing things apart to make more of them.
Yeah.
And so what I'm hoping to find is the repair core at the buried somewhere in this herald that essentially is the master unit that can remote control the nanomachines it's attuned to. And I want to reverse it, and I want to reverse engineer that communication protocol and be able to send out a blanket stop and dissolve to all the nanomachines that are of herald make, basically halting any progress that they might have in messing with these nanoswarms.
Sure.
Which would also be a pretty good thing to have if we ever fight them.
Very true. Wow.
I'm not in the market of bioweapons, thank you very much. I don't build bioweapons.
But if
what we use it for is
if Dr. Nasur actually succeeds on this, we could give you would get a point of tech basically. You'd get a device that would basically accomplish that.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you reveal the secret about the situation, and you get fleeting advantage acting on it. So go ahead and roll your lore to unearth forgotten lore with advantage. So 3d6 K2 plus 2. I'm gonna laugh if you still fail this. Nice, 10.
Nice.
A little bit too close for call, but let's see here. Character moves.
And plus ask 3.
You get it. You get 1 data, and you get ask 3.
So, I mean, I kind of answered all these questions, didn't I?
I mean, we can confirm them, right?
Okay.
With some of these questions, that's could be a thing that happens.
Sure. I want to confirm my theory that I can. How can I turn this repair core to my advantage?
Yeah, and it's by reversing the communication of the nanoswarms and getting them to stop. Yeah.
Okay. Where is it drawing its power from?
So that's the thing that really confuses you. You have no clue.
Like no clue going in. Right?
You're familiar with technology, so this robot should not be functioning. It's seemingly getting power from nowhere.
However, that's a question I asked, so I do get to find an answer.
Yeah, where is it drawing power from? Something outside of itself.
Okay.
Some force or energy or external whatever outside of itself.
The wireless charger.
What?
The wireless charger.
Yeah.
So this is fascinating. I guess I always expected them to have some kind of miniaturized reactor in here. Considering armor plating, right? And like they're robots, they need some kind of power source, but there's no reactor. There's no. Oh, hang on. We find the area under the arc by doing this computation. Find the integral with respect to time. Let me square that. No, it's the cube, sorry. Divide the whole thing by the galactic size.
Nissa just like clears her throat.
Happened to you too. I'm solving problems here.
Does this have anything to do with the xenorobotics that you're supposed to be working on?
2 minutes and I'll answer your question. What if I were to plug in, instead of that, I plug in the speed of light in cubic meters per centimeter? No, but in order to do that, I have to multiply the units by themselves, which would just drop into square centimeters. I can deal with that by factoring for the gravitational anomaly here. No, that doesn't work. But if we multiply by x, we get 7. To your point. No, it has absolutely nothing to do with it whatsoever. Pops down the pen, shoves away the tablet, turns back around.
I hope that means that you found your answer.
Yeah.
Not wasting the time with that.
In the 42 years I've been working on those problems, I've never yet once found an answer. Thank you very much. You would have heard about it if I did.
He meant about the robot.
There's a simple explanation. They don't have a reactor.
I'm afraid that's not much of an explanation.
They don't know. There's no power source. There's a power source, but there's no power source. You know what I mean?
That sounds like a question, not an answer.
Yes. That's exactly the point I'm trying to make. Thank you. I'm glad someone in the room is clever and is following. No, because
so
the question exists. The question exists. Fundamentally, therefore, whatever technology we try to extract from this needs to be powered by the question. Because otherwise, we're going to be dealing all the time with concrete things and answers. But if it's all fundamentally question-based technology.
Well, you're telling me that whatever...
I like you. You're smart.
You're telling me that whatever powers this thing is required to power your solution.
It's not a whatever. It's a what isn't ever. It's not about what's there. It's about what's not there. The question. But yes, essentially, if you boil it down to it, maybe.
So you're telling me that you can't simply use this creature to power whatever your solution is. If it is gaining its energy from this questionable source, do we need the source when we have whatever it is powering?
Questionable? I would hardly call the question questionable, considering what we've got laying right here in front of us. A beauty of immaculate engineering is laying here right in front of us, powered by the very question. It's not questionable.
Does this beauty of engineering have anything useful to solve? Or are you going
sure, it's got this little cord. It's right here. It's part of the main power trunk. If I just plug it into whatever I'm making, it'll work.
Excellent. That is
I don't have to solve. See, I don't have to understand or solve the question. I got this.
Yes, that is what I said.
You still have one question to ask.
I do. What dangers is it hiding?
So
I ask, considering what I rolled on this.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we're getting to. So that's, I think that's the moment when you turn back with the cord, right? And you're like, all right, let's figure this out. You notice something odd. And it's like, I mean, you've done studies on them in the past, but you've never been able to have them this close and actually like tear one apart. And you've always wondered how they just teleport around.
Mm-hmm.
And you think you found something that like is a key to that puzzle. You're like, oh, I think this is like some sort of like phase shifter or something that like allows them to like, who knows where they get the call, like the pull to teleport, but what actually allows them to like, you know, transport themselves is probably connected to this, you know, particular piece of their, you know, their construction. And
it's like a wheel.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's like a set of wheels that clamp onto a track. And it rolls nice and smooth along that track. So wherever the track goes, there go the wheels, and there goes the thing along with the wheels. That's a way to think about it, because really there are no wheels in here. Nor track. And to be honest with you, there's not real... The thing itself is kind of more cubic than it is circular. And like... In fact, that's not at all how it works.
I'd like to think that like you were explaining that first part that I explained to like Nissa and Beruz, right? You were like explaining like, I've been wondering about this, the way they transport themselves. And so we've heard this explanation all from you. And I think you notice as you're just like idly looking at this thing, you're like, wait a second. It's still on. It's still working, which means this thing could have transported itself away at any time. And that's the moment where it summons two flaming swords and attacks you. Turns out the threat to holiness was Azimuth all along.
Oh no! That's not good.
I love my friggin' faction.
So literally it got itself captured because it's like cold to like the threat to holiness. Whatever Azimuth is, it wouldn't allow it to like actually transport itself there.
Right. Yeah.
But by getting itself captured and then sold to Azimuth, it could actually get inside. And
now
so, yeah, and now there is a very awake and alive Forgotten Herald with two swords that is gonna wreak havoc in here.
Okay, cool. Let's see.
So the first thing it tries to do is stab you in the chest, Dr. Nasur. So I think you're gonna have to roll diffuse to like not be dead. Not
Quite
be stabbed.
understandable considering I'm holding on to what is effectively his liver.
Yes. Yep.
Fair.
Yes.
Now that we're in combat, how does harm and armor and stuff in this game work?
Basically, it's like harm is determined by there's like a little harm track depending on like how how harmful something would be, just based on narrative reality. And then if you have armor, it minuses off whatever harm that would be. Okay.
What is how do we determine how much damage a flaming sword does as opposed to like fire songs? Like I don't.
Mainly, it's just determined by me. So. Yeah.
Right, but I guess I'm asking what you have determined.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up right now. I just gotta find the track.
Yeah, they're very strange.
So it would be somewhere between 2 and 4. Right, high quality weapons or the falls monsters.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna roll just because this thing could be really dangerous or not as dangerous. Like it's a warrior model, but this will kind of depend on its skill. So I'm gonna roll a d4. If it gets a 1, we'll just reroll. But otherwise, okay. So it's a 2 harm. It's not actually the most harmful herald out there. But yeah, it's on any of its damage will do 2 harm. Yeah. So there we go. So it attacks you. You're gonna have to roll diffuse to like not be stabbed by it.
Okay. So
how are you using this situation?
Based on that, we've established that it was at least somewhat restrained, and I have its components open.
Yeah.
And based on that, I'm like an expert in robotics, and one of the key components of robotics is the calculus of motion. Dr. Davishi Nasur understands implicitly where this thing's arm span is.
Yeah.
Where it can hit with the sword and where he needs to not be, to not get hit with the sword.
That sounds like lore.
That is very much lore, yes.
Yeah.
And in order to compute as fast and as hard as he possibly can in that moment, he is going to overexert his brain.
Sure, yeah. So you're gonna get drained. Use your strange powers. Okay, cool. Yeah.
3d6k2 plus 2.
Yep. Oh, wow. Only a 7.
Glad I took that. Actually, wouldn't have. It was the third die rolled was the drop die, so theoretically.
Yeah. So on a 79, you've bought some time, but choose one. There's a cost to securing safety. The danger will soon return, or the danger is still present but threatening someone or something else.
And I get to choose one?
One of those three, yeah.
If he picks that it's not going to come back, what does that even mean?
I mean, that just means I'm out of the frying pan.
What do you mean, David?
Well, so one of the I assume that one of the options is
there's a cost to securing safety, and it actually is secure. Again, this is him directly not being stabbed in this moment.
Right, but I mean, one of the options is that the harm is still there, and in what circumstances the harm not still there?
It totally is. This would be the direct. So basically, what would it be is he would the thing would probably like throw its swords at Nasur. He would dodge out of the way, and it would hit either Nissa or you instead.
Or in the case of it reoccurring, it would just swing again.
Are you allowed to say no to one of the options I choose there? Not that I'm going to this time around, but
me?
David brings up a good point. That if I call up that there's a cost to securing safety,
I mean, safety is secured. Yeah.
Can I use
the safety
someone
here,
else's health for that cost? Or would that be your call?
No, you have to pay a personal cost to securing safety. So in this case, it might be your medical equipment is severely damaged, right? Yeah, something like that. Mm-hmm. Again, this is like you not being stabbed. This isn't like the angel is not a danger anymore. This is one particular instance. Yeah,
I mean, this is a lot closer to D&D roles than it is to.
Yeah, we're gonna break this down into smaller things instead of like.
Yeah. So why wouldn't you pick like the danger is gonna happen again, since it's obviously gonna happen again until he's dead, and that like doesn't.
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like that feels like the obvious choice since it's already the case. Because it's not going to just be like, oh, now you have to roll again, because that would be stupid and wouldn't make any sense. So, like,
I think basically the danger will soon return means it misses, but it's still going to attack him and not Beiruz or Nissa.
Okay, so this is more of deciding where it goes next.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Do I or something I care about take a hit? Does it change its mind to go for an easier target, or does it just take a second, or does it just take a moment and then hit me again?
Yeah,
I actually kind of like that, because that sort of takes the decision of who it's attacking out of the GM's hands, so you don't have to feel like you're bullying somebody.
I'm going to use Shirk and send the danger to someone else.
Sounds good. Yeah, so tell us what that looks like.
So I think there's the sword appears in its hand, and there's a moment where everybody's not sure what to do. And then just about at the same time as everybody starts moving, whether they're dodging for their weapons or looking for cover or whatever, Dr. Nasur just kind of casually steps away a little bit. He kind of just steps toward the head. Keeps his arm in the chest cavity because he's not letting go of that quite yet. Actually, no, he's going to let go of that because otherwise it would go after him again. But as the sword kind of just swings past, he left himself a little bit of a buffer, but it swings right through the space he was just standing in a minute ago. And then he promptly tosses himself backwards away from the table under a piece of equipment.
Yeah, and then the angel breaks its bonds, floats vertical, and then stares daggers at Beiruz and Nissa.
So now,
is Taller in the room too? I assume so.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So he was probably sitting in a chair nearby, reading something on a hollow screen, and he just is he's freaking out.
Yeah. So now, we had more than one of these, didn't we? Didn't they say they had multiple of them to sell us?
Yes. I don't think it was ever actually decided whether or not they just sold you one or all three of them or whatever.
Well, it sounded like he said that they had multiple to sell me, so I assumed that was what we were...
if that was the Parathians would have wanted, is multiple of them, then yeah, that's fine.
Right. Well, because then it allows us to make mistakes. And in that case, I'm going to probably try and communicate that we need to secure the other Actually, no. So I think he communicates to them that we need to. I know they can teleport this, so that wouldn't matter. But they can't teleport here. That was the whole point. Did the doctor explain that to me? Do I know that they weren't able to teleport?
No, that's
No, you
something that
explained
he
that to me.
knows. Yeah,
Okay.
that was
In
just
that
something I
case-
was explaining. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll just basically communicate telepathically to guards essentially that we need to secure the other
Yeah.
heralds.
Sure.
Remotely presumably because this place has defenses, but the defenses I chose were like crazy weird paths that would lead attackers astray,
Right.
and like make them lost forever. So that's sort of how the defenses look when they attempt to deploy them. And so then I'll just try and yell fire at this guy and see if I can. Now, how does I have a bodyguard? How does that affect my?
I think it gives you a +1 on force, doesn't it? Isn't that what that does?
Check.
Yeah, get +1 force when they fight at your command.
Okay, cool. Because I'm pretty sure my force isn't very good.
Yeah, even -1 of force.
Yeah, so I get a 0 then.
Yeah, basically, or just fiercely assaulting.
Right. Yeah, I suppose that's how this works.
Well, technically, first you need to do diffuse because the danger was just got deflected to you. So it's basically what happens is he goes vertical and then he just chucks swords at you. So you have to like immediately dodge out of the way of that, and then we can like
the
do a battle.
dangers shifted to me means his attention is on me now. Otherwise, if I do fuse and then I pick the same thing, then his attack will just bounce.
Right. That's fair. Okay. Yeah. The only reason I still want to do that is because I want there to be an initial moment of like you guys get hurt or whatever before an actual battle starts, because you're all so surprised by this happening, which is kind of the initial why it was like a diffuse at first.
Right. I suppose. Although my weapon only requires me to yell, which was probably something I was doing already. But that's fair. I guess I can. It's up to you.
Yeah, let's do a diffuse first, and then we can move on from there to something else.
So
it's initial like crazy onslaught at you when you're unprepared.
Yeah.
So how are you using?
I'm just looking.
Your diffuse.
Obviously, I'm not going to try and talk my way out of it because I don't imagine that would work at all. I have lore.
Yeah, you have technology and stuff. You could.
Information.
Your nanoswarm physique comes into play here.
Yeah, that's possible. Although, could I use misdirection if I tried to basically bluff and make it sound like I was getting it? Actually, I wouldn't care about that though.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't.
Because I like to make it sound like it's going to get killed if it attacks me, like from defenses and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess you decide whether or not that is.
Yeah, I don't think it's a viable option in this particular instance.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, you can roll lore if you want to.
Yeah, I think maybe I want to use the weird shifting halls of the thing of Azimuth to my advantage, since I understand how they work, and I feel like that would be a lore thing.
Mm-hmm.
So then at least I got this one. I literally can't roll without getting one. I don't think I've done it. I think even the time I had 3 dice, I think I rolled a 1 and just got dropped.
All right, so there's a cost of securing safety. The danger will soon return, or the danger is still present but threatening someone or something else. So yeah, you're using the shifting halls of
right. Yeah. So
Azimuth.
Basically, like duck into the pathway, and the pathway like vanishes. Is the idea?
Mm-hmm.
Situation is safe.
So if you wanted to do, there's a cost to securing safety. I have a really good idea based off of the Azimuth weird shifting halls thing.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So I think basically what it kind of looks like is you like quickly step into the side corridor, right? And then like appear basically on the other side of the room coming in another corridor, right? There's like a weird like shift that happens there, and so you dodge out of the way of his strikes. But then it just seems like you just feel it because you're so in tune with Azimuth and everything else that is going on. You feel like something, like you just woke up something, like Azimuth itself sort of like realized how dangerous this was and is now waking up and like reacting to what's happening. So there's going to be like weird stuff that's going to start to happen.
Okay. Yeah.
Which hopefully will, help you, but it might also hinder you based on what happens.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So then basically it's like, all right, now fight time sort of a thing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Nissa just like, cocks her gun and just starts going at it. Taller is screaming, hiding behind a table.
Yeah. Well, Beirut is doing the same thing, except for instead of hiding behind the table, it's fire. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he's not very good at this.
So describe for us what it's like for Beirut to do this, because this is the first time we've actually seen this on screen, the like fire amplification stuff.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think how I want this to look, because I think it is basically like he's yelling, and then there is like he just yells for a second, as far as we can see, and then there's like this weird heat vibration around him, distortion, and then the whole area around him bursts into fire, and then just like throws itself at him. So it's like just basically a column of fire between him and the thing that he's attacking.
Nice.
After he starts, so yeah,
cool.
Because otherwise we're looking at him just going, it's kind of weird. So
cool. Yeah, so that happens. Column of fire spreads outward and attacks him. Real quick, Doctor, what are you doing during this entire thing? Like a battle just starts happening in your lab. Are you like hiding at the table? Do you join in?
Should have pulled the thing out when I had it in my hand instead of just taking my hand away.
It's all good. I mean, it was a logical choice. It spawned fire swords, so.
You could still try to go up to the thing and try to rig the device to like in its chest, because it's like chest plate is open, right, at this point.
Sure.
It would be dangerous, but yeah, you could try it.
I mean, he wants to cower under his equipment. Oh, but his equipment's getting damaged by the column of fire. That cannot be. This will not stand. I think he probably gets up to solve a meth problem. No, he's got a couple of minutes before he does that. I think he's actually going to try and go pull out the core from the spot where it's hanging in the thing's chest.
Yeah, you're rushing at it.
Well, it's distracted. I might as well make off with this.
Cool. Yeah.
Try to.
So let's roll the attack first, and then we can kind of work out the details.
Is he charging into the column of fire, or?
What probably happening is there's like a battle starting to happen, and he's gonna wait for like a moment to like jump in, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, that might not be a good idea.
So yeah, let's play out the fiercely assault first, and then we can work out the rest of the stuff.
I don't care about my eyebrows.
So go ahead and roll force. Probably at +0. Looks like.
Yep.
Oh no! Excellent. Left roll 20. Roll 20.
So yeah, just David has to roll this. Actually.
David needs to roll that.
Yeah, because he's the one. You can like lend him aid after the fact if you wanted to, as part of this. Oh, well, you got the exact same roll, so it doesn't matter.
Nice.
So what happens if he lends aid? Can he make it a 10?
Yes, if you wanted to, you could.
Also, you getting the core would be a really good idea, because if we kill this thing, we still need the thing to plug the cord into.
I'd rather he not do all of the damage before I can get the thing that I need.
I mean, if you help me, I think that's sort of like the idea, right? That we're working together to do this. Yeah.
Yep.
So
if you basically you can just roll. Let's see. With lore. Yeah, roll with lore. And on a hit, you increase the result by 1 category.
Okay. I'm not going to burn myself for this one, though.
All right, sounds good.
I saw how that went down.
With Nausea, yeah.
And this time, we can bring you back to life. But, yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, and you don't do it with any consequences either. So,
Awesome.
yep,
Good
you
job.
just increase his category. So go ahead and choose
2 of them.
2. Yeah,
Oh, well, you scavenge a device, right?
yeah. There you
'Cause
go.
that's what he
Yeah,
does.
you
And
scavenge a
then
device.
I would like to inflict savage, terrifying harm and frighten and dismay my foes.
Nice.
I just
Okay.
want to basically like melt most of it too. I mean, I don't know how much health it has, but melt it down as much as it is the damage that I inflict allows. Because I don't know how much damage my weapon does or anything.
Because if you're going for savage, terrifying harm, you're also trying to scare it down, right?
Yeah, it says it's frightening, dismaying your foes, and I'm hoping that if we have other ones involved, that this will help.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I think the option I'm going to choose is man, I wish I could choose 3 of these. Because it makes sense that others will come after you, right?
Well, yeah. Although I
also-
want them not to dismaying or frightening
right.
my foes.
It also makes sense that you take harm as appropriate.
Yeah.
It also makes sense that the situation is destabilized and chaos will follow.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. My I think it's my first 2 harm boxes are NPCs. Maybe it's my last 2.
I think it's your last 2 before death. Yeah.
I think I can put them wherever I want. Actually, I think that's what it said.
No, it's trembling, fearful, lose blank, and lose blank, and then dead.
Oh,
So you can decide which order that they die in. But yeah.
right. Okay. Well, yeah. But I guess me gaining harm wouldn't do that. So I was just thinking that might be an interesting thing to have happen to make it feel weighty that wouldn't involve.
I think I'm gonna choose the situation to destabilize and chaos will soon follow.
Okay. that's fine.
So I think you guys
That makes
managed to
sense
like
based on what we said earlier.
exactly.
So-
You guys managed to like tear into this thing, right? So Nissa's actually Nissa's shooting at it. Beiruz is shooting columns of fire at it. It's dodging around the room, attacking things, but missing narrowly. And then finally, the thing that actually like stops it, right, is the fact that the doctor rushes over and just yanks the whatever out of its chest or does whatever he needs to do.
He probably just grabs a bundle of everything that's in there and takes as much out as he can.
Yeah, and obviously just messes him up and he can't function correctly and just kind of like falls apart to the ground. But yeah, you've scavenged a device that you can use to unleash power if you want to. But yeah, so basically you after the fight is over and like part of some of your blab is destroyed and stuff, you both just still sense, because you're Perihelians, that something is wrong, right? Like Azimuth is angry, right?
Right.
And yeah, something else is happening. Like your adrenaline is still going. You're still tense, even despite like it's over. You still feel like the other shoe is gonna drop.
Right.
So what do you do?
In that case, I contact the other containment area, essentially, because I assume that we had them in like proper, not just like tied to a table kind of restraints.
Yeah.
And so I contact that room to make sure that they're, they did what I said.
You don't get any contact back.
Okay. Well, I mean, if they came out in the middle of the tunnels, they probably got lost and died, but I should go find out anyways, just in case. So yeah, I tell Nissa, like, you go check on the containment room. They're not responding.
I think Nissa says, absolutely not. We're staying right here, and we're setting up a perimeter.
We can't just let those things run around.
Well, running towards them is not going to help. My job is to keep you alive, Beiruz.
Well, we're not going to be able to...
Isn't Cassius here? Can't he handle this?
Who's that?
Jared's character.
Oh, yeah. He says,
I think actually that Cassius might be like on shore leave right now because that makes the most
Right.
sense for this
well, and
situation.
that wasn't his job anyways. I told him his job was to like, or no, I guess I told him that he would have to like play
He can-
bodyguard to people who weren't endangered.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously he has interest in the Last Watch and the Hellbreakers and stuff, and wouldn't stay here all the time. So
No, yeah. Yeah, so I'm like, I don't think we can rely on him. I mean, nobody else outside of these halls even knows that they're out. We need to destroy them ourselves if they've gotten out, or at least contain them. I mean, Azimuth may do it for us, but we can't just leave it up to chance. If they make it back up to the surface of Azimuth, we can't just let them run amok. I mean, they'll probably get melted by like 7,000 people with fire songs, but you know.
Doctor, what are you saying?
Well, if I divide by the square root of 7,
Of course.
He's frantically working on his tablet again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Beirut is basically ignoring him at this point because he doesn't expect the doctor to be like super, like he doesn't expect the doctor to want to go fight. So, yeah, he's just trying to gain this as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm wondering how much control we have over the defense, because I know the whole point is that we don't know a lot about this place. But some of the other defense mechanisms, like, I mean, there was literally a defense mechanism that's just like a turret, a bunch of turrets everywhere. And so I don't know how much control we have over it, and whether I can be like, yeah, I just turn on the defense.
It doesn't sound like you have a lot of control over it. It sounds like it's all pretty much just automated. Like it does its own thing.
That's sort of what I thought, yeah. Yeah, in which case we probably don't want to, I mean, we're not like intruders, but it seems madder than usual. We might not
Yeah,
want to be
exactly.
there.
So do you basically just go towards you try to find them? Or what?
I think that in this case, we should get to the surface of Azimuth as soon as possible, as directly as possible. So yeah, that's what he says. He says, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to head straight to Azimuth, to the surface, and we'll watch for them surfacing. If they don't surface, then we know Azimuth is taking care of them. If they do, then at least we can warn and prepare a defense against them. It's not likely that they'll make it out as directly as us. They don't know this system like we do. We need to move now, though. I'm not sure exactly what's happening. This is not a usual reaction. Although, honestly, people invading this usual. So it's an unusual circumstance.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we just need to navigate as directly as possible to the surface. And then, I mean, because we have like a psychic link, I think I'm going to try and contact people on the surface to like assemble like a functional defense.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, you get answers back like, oh gosh, yeah, like that's bad. We'll get ready, sort of a thing. So basically, you're assuming that the heralds are gonna like make their way to the surface, and you want to be.
I'm assuming if they don't make their way to the surface, it's because they died, because I haven't killed them.
Yeah. And
if they do make it to the surface, which is the only time that it really matters, then we'll just kill them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea. Yeah.
Okay. Throws the tablet back to its corner. Wait a second. We got this.
Oh yeah, we can just shut them off. I forgot about that somehow, even though I just talked about it earlier. But I mean, I probably don't get the idea. So
yeah.
No. So
yeah. What do you intend to do with that to solve our problem?
Well, this is the master communicator device. Well, not this specifically. This little bitty microchip on the end here is the master communicator device for this unit, which is the self-replicating self-replicator that constructs all the microbots that are used in the replication of the microbots that they have in their systems. And yes, they use microbots to make microbots. It's weird. Don't ask me why. Now, because this is the controller of all of that for this particular unit, it's useful.
Are you telling me you can use that to shut them down, the others down? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I can't shut them down, no. We want to turn it to overdrive, yeah?
Do we want to do that? Aren't the microbots the things causing the disease?
Oh.
I mean, I
Good
don't know if
catch.
that's-
Let's not do that.
I don't know if that's been explained to me in character yet, but
Yeah.
No,
But if you're trying to use it against the robots, that might make sense.
Here's an idea. What if? Here, come here.
yeah.
Stand right here. Turn this way. Just pulls up your sleeves so you got your shoulders exposed. Out comes this probe thing. It's got like a pair of binocular, it's clearly the upper half of like a binocular microscope, but it's got a whole bunch of weird little spindly arms with needles on the end of them.
Okay.
He puts it up to his face, and all the arms just kind of go. And then one little one reaches out, pokes your shoulder quick, pulls back. All right, thank you. Got a sample.
That's so
Time
weird.
is short, Doctor. What will that do?
Well, it'll do nothing. And that's the point. See, this, we can make it so it does nothing. I'm so smart right now. So smart right now. Look at this. 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 He carefully places the needle on a sample tray, slaps the lid shut, pulls up the device, pops open an access panel. Inside another tinier access panel, pulls over a giant microscope unit, and then points to the wall. It looked like just a plain gray wall, which is immediately filled with an incredibly inflated view of the internals of this mechanism. And held between a set of pinchers is a very weird looking micro robot with a bunch of little limbs and stuff. It's kind of frozen in position. That's the master, the queen, if you will. That's the prototype, the source.
Okay.
The glorious type from which all others have descended.
So we should destroy it, is what you're saying.
No. I mean, maybe. He reaches over, grabs puts his hand in a glove, pulls it back, and it's another one of those things with a bunch of needles on it. Reaches in, and you just watch as a pair of tiny little needles go grab it and just kind of pull the bot out and crush it to dust. Well, that's something. What I'm hoping I can do, throws the glove across the room, grabs the sample tray, pops out the little needle, and goes to stick in a sample of, once it gets under the microscope, you can see it's kind of a orange gold, and it's very much different from the bot that was in there before. Fit this between the needles. Now, I think if I turn this on, and then I run it through an amplifier, and then run that through an amplifier, and then that through a transmitter, or transmitter, then multi-phasic array. We'll set up transmitters all around, and we'll send the amplified signal, and it'll just work. That is to say, I should explain. This little, if I'm understanding
This
correctly,
is just nodding like, yes, you should.
Feel free to do it before you explain. Time is short.
She's following along. I don't know why you're not keeping up. Little bot in here. It's the little, hey, this is the type, the prototype, the thing. This is how we see friends, right? This thing is a friend. Don't hurt it.
Okay.
What happens if we replace the little this thing's a friend with a different friend, the friend that's in all of our skins? Two birds, one billion tiny little stones. The little bots begin to attack the other guys instead of us.
That sounds like a great solution. Please enact it as soon as possible. Again, time is short.
Essentially what he's trying to do is reprogram the entire set of self-repair nanobots within the range of his transmitter to, instead of attacking the cell, or not the cells, the nanoswarm of the perihelions, to attack their own nanoswarms.
Ooh,
and
have
the
them eat each other.
internals of have them eat each other and the heralds themselves.
Yeah,
Basically
I mean,
turning the heralds' self-repair and immune system against themselves.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead and unleash power. That's what that is.
Good plan.
All right. On a 7 to 9, pick 2. Roll lore. I don't have to hurt myself because this is xenorobotics.
Got a 6.
Wait, can I help you?
I don't know. Okay. Say what another character nearby can do to boost your efforts. I don't think you can help. Like, I can't think of a single thing you could actually do.
I need access to the city's defense network.
You can't, like,
Defense and
Azimuth,
communications network so that I can amplify the signal.
I mean, we do have inbuilt comms in our bodies.
yeah, but that's like, I just don't see a way that Beruz himself could actually help at all. He doesn't have any of the knowledge necessary to like actually provide.
Well, I mean, maybe, except that he's probably like hundreds of years old. He probably has he has more basic knowledge than any normal person would have. So if there's something that just takes more hands, he could probably at least help that.
I don't think there is something that takes more hands. It's just like to flip a switch, basically, right? Like do math.
Speaking of,
I do have lore. I mean, I could.
Speaking
try
of.
that.
Yeah, we just have to figure out like an actual thing you're doing because it doesn't sound to me like there's actually any
Well,
way
I
that
mean,
you can help.
I might know more about Azimuth's actual like he was saying, having access to things. I might know more how to manipulate Azimuth's systems than.
So the idea is that we're using this as a signal generator, and we need to pump it through a set of antennas to amplify it so that it goes out to all the nanobots.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I can give him my because it's technically like an amplification device. It just turns things into fire. But maybe I can give him my fire crown thing, and he could use that to amplify the signal or whatever instead of generate flames.
That could also go horribly wrong. Sure, yeah.
I mean,
All right.
yeah, of course it could.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll with
Alright,
lore, I guess, yeah.
So instead of it just not working, we cook ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's see. Plus 1.
Mhm.
Okay. You roll a 1 here. Oh, I didn't roll a 1 for once in my life.
Nice. All right, so you
Time to
don't
not
share in the
roll.
move's consequences, but it becomes a 7 to 9.
Okay.
Cool.
So on a 7 to 9, pick 2 of the options on unleash power.
Well, the first thing, the device does exactly what you wanted.
Okay.
Good plan.
Yeah, because that's kind of been my objective is to get rid of your need for medicine.
Thank you.
Should
Well, yeah, so the
probably
thing is if you
make it
don't
so that the device can be used again.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the one that
so
actually
that
would
will fix the need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It's got to do two things.
Yep.
It's got to last, and so that fixes the need.
So
And
that means
then that's it.
yeah, so you rouse other devices in your environment and you avoid the device you don't avoid the device's side effects. So
Does amplifying the signal still make flame?
I think it probably does, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So I think what happens is it seems to be working, right? Like, I mean, you don't even know really, because you can't tell because you don't know where they are, right? But it, from all your math and your screens, it looks like it's working.
Your math and your screens.
Yeah. And so you're looking at it and you're like, okay, I think that's working. And then you just start to sweat and you're like, ooh, wow, is it hot? Is it hot in here? And like you get like an alert on one of your screens and it's like, interior temperature reaching 100 degrees, right? Like
I set that thing to go off in Celsius.
oh no.
What?
Your nanoswarm physique is the only thing that's keeping you alive at this point.
It's literally just like as he's talking, his tongue melts and then reflows.
No, yeah, literally what's happening
Face
is
sloughs off, and for a moment, he's handsome.
so one, you can tell that Azimuth
Going
didn't
Dolores
like
mode.
that, right? And two, you can tell that the amplification is making everything hotter. And yeah, Nissa like goes like this and she's like, I think we might need to leave.
Probably a wise idea.
Yeah, do you guys just try to escape to the surface?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
The tendon holding my knee to my leg has been melted. Hold on. Oh, they reform.
It's not that bad. It's becoming to the point you could spontaneously burst into flames if you keep staying, right? Like,
But technically, it's really not that big of a deal because if we die, we can just use the thing that lets you bring people back to life. So it's okay.
And it was at that moment that Dr. Davishi felt a compulsion to do math.
And then he finds it out and then dies. Gets the answer and then.
So probably what happens, right, is you guys are like, all right, we need to get out of here. But you feel Azimuth's just rage. And you start wondering, you going through the corridors, and weird things start happening as you're going through these corridors, right? Like, you turn a corner and you're like, I don't remember, like, we're obviously not where we're supposed to be. And then suddenly, like, well, I think what I want you to do is I want you to make a roll here. Forge a path. When you find your way across precarious or dangerous terrain, roll plus force.
Yeah. Plus force? Okay,
yeah.
That's an interesting one.
Because it's physical exertion is the idea.
Right.
But yeah,
okay.
So whoever wants to do that.
Well, not me. Well, I can't imagine your force is probably a lot better, is it?
I have no force.
Yeah, well, I have -1 force, so yours is probably still better.
This is true.
Yeah, so the doctor is leading the way.
Probably that makes
roll your force.
Sense if it's a force thing, yeah.
Metagame.
Yeah.
Please, sir, can I have some more?
Oh no, Josh! Do you want to try to roll aid?
Oh no.
Barus?
Yeah, I suppose. Now do I get?
Upgraded from an abysmal failure to a catastrophic failure.
Do I get +1 from the guy or from Nissa, or is that only when she's fighting?
That's only when she's fighting, yeah.
Okay. So -1.
Oh no,
Boy.
this is bad.
Yeah. Could have been better.
So what happens is, like a bunch of different things are happening here. You're stuck in here for a really long time first, right? Like you keep turning wrong corners. You're like, I cannot find my way out of here, and it just gets hotter and hotter and hotter. And about the time you're about to, like, I think, well, first you probably just take harm from that,
Right.
as one of the GM moves here. So everybody take 2 harm, unless you have some sort of armor stuff from your. I don't know what your nanoswarm physiques actually do exactly.
Well, it doesn't give any armor inherently because it doesn't have like shielded or
right. Yeah, it's mobile implanted comms and precious. Okay. Yeah, it has a lot to do with like other stuff instead of actual armor. Okay. So, yeah, everybody mark 2 harm boxes, and yeah, so that means you're hurt. So you have a -1 on steel. Okay, so you already did that. Cool, perfect. Yeah, and then Baruz, what are you doing? It's trembling and fearful, I guess, for you. Yeah. Yeah, so you are now trembling and fearful as you, which makes sense because you're literally overheating.
Yeah. So let me try and put an X in this one. Nope, I missed. Go there. Nope, missed. Close enough.
And then what happens is the corridor you're walking down just suddenly inverts itself, and you're falling down it like a chute, like a chute into the darkness.
Yeah.
The gravity just completely reverses itself, and you're just falling down a shaft.
Nice.
How do you stop yourself from being horribly crushed at the bottom?
Oh, fascinating.
You're like doing math as you're falling.
I want to look for another path that I can go into instead.
Like a side corridor.
Yeah.
You can aim towards. Okay. Sounds like diffuse with lore.
Okay, so this one.
Oh
There's
no!
my one again.
Another fail.
Oh no.
Do you want to try to help him, Doctor?
Sure.
So I was just rolling for me, right? So he could make his own diffuse roll to survive, right?
We could either do it that way, or we could just have this be like for both of you. I'm fine with that.
Well,
Because I think the idea was like the situation is you are all falling down this shaft.
right, that's
Right.
true.
So I think you can help this, and it will be for both of you.
Although if it was for both of us, I think his lore is way better than mine, isn't it?
It is. By one.
Yes.
Oh,
So that would have been
But it
6
wouldn't have
instead of
mattered. So yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah.
But yeah, go ahead and you can help him with lore.
5. And he's
You want
going
to,
to
Doctor?
he's going to use his outsider exertion.
Okay. So you're mangled now.
Oh no! Yikes!
Yep.
Oh, so this goes badly.
Oh,
I'll die.
hang on.
Maybe.
Does the exertion count before the mangled, or does the mangled proc first?
Yeah,
we get
you
to roll
take one
3d6
harm.
plus
You
2?
take one harm to roll it with advantage. It sounds like it happens first.
I think the advantage is still more worth it. I think.
Yeah,
Except that then
probably.
if you take damage from falling, you'll die. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's possible.
So what does this look like, real quick, Doctor? Like you're obviously like siphoning your own energy to like help your brain be overpowered. What is actually happening? You have strange abilities. Like, what are you doing?
I think he's he's this expert in xenorobotics and micro robotics, and
Mm-hmm.
I think he's actually modified his own nano structure
Yeah.
to essentially consume the calories intended for his muscles
Oh, jeez.
and push them into his brain instead for extra energy. And chemically, I don't know how that works. I'm not a biologist, don't
Yeah.
at me. But basically, he
There's some
causes
sort of
his
super
muscles
science, yeah.
to atrophy as his brain
Works in overdrive.
works in overdrive. Hence his bony structure.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, yeah.
It's like tapping, but way worse.
Roll 3d6 plus 2, or 3d6k2 plus 2.
Plus 1, because I take the minus
Plus
1
1,
to
yeah.
every stat.
All right, so you are bound to the consequences, but you get to move it up one step. So that means, David, that you get to choose one of those 7 to 9 options for diffuse. There's a cost of securing safety, the danger will soon return, or the danger is still present but threatening someone or something else.
I will take a cost, I think.
Okay. Let's see. What is a good cost for this situation?
Don't be afraid to kill my quick character.
Well, I figured it'd probably be one of my. If somebody dies, it'll probably be one of my.
Yeah. Is there another cost besides someone just dying here that makes sense? I'm trying to think of
Possibly, yeah.
other options.
Yeah.
We make a lot of noise and attract the rabid monkeys that live in the forest.
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what might make sense for him.
Yeah, I'm just looking around at possible options here.
I don't know. You hit the ground, you drop your pocket.
My guess is honestly the thing that makes the most sense is probably one of your people dying.
Yeah, I'm not too sure like how that would help us, but I think that makes sense as a cost.
Right, yeah, it's basically just that like you manage to find a side corridor and you have mobile on your nanoswarm physiques, right?
No, I don't think so. I think we have integrated and
That's what I have written down.
hold on, let me
Is
double
mobile,
check.
implanted, comms, and precious.
So I think that is specifically Escander's one because he has a special thing about it. So
okay.
if you saw it on there, that might be why. Let me
Got it.
check the equipment. No. Wait, what is it? Just see. What is this? Let me double check the rule book real quick.
Yeah, what you'd actually get on this.
Yeah, this is because I guess this does matter. So I gotta go real quick here soon. So
Yep.
How are you defended? No, wait. Oh yeah, it does have mobile implanted in comms, and then it gets precious because of my faction.
Yeah.
So it
Makes
is
sense.
mobile. I don't think I ever realized that. I don't know what that looks like.
I mean, basically, that's just like you can maneuver with it, right? There's
Right.
like
I mean,
for
I know what
Reva,
it
it's
means,
like
I'm just not
jetpack,
sure what it means.
like boosters and stuff.
Yeah, I'm just not
so
sure what that looks like for us.
what I'm saying, what I'm thinking, right, is that the nanoswarm helps you nudge yourself with the like down towards one of the side corridors.
Right. It would probably
Um,
also help me slow my descent. Like if
Yeah,
it's basically a jetpack, right?
Like you could do like feather fall with it, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Although in that case, wouldn't everybody else also be able to do that?
I think like part of it is like the azimuth itself is actively trying to push you down the shaft, so it's like it's mitigating it somewhat, but it's not that you can just stop your movement. So I
Right.
think what happens, right, is you manage to like nudge yourself over to the side and grab like a side corridor and like grab the ledge of it, and everybody else pretty much does except for Taller or Nissa, whoever you want to die here.
Yeah.
My guess would
I
be
think-
Taller, just because it makes more sense, like for him
Yeah,
to be in
right.
this situation and be like, I don't know what I'm doing, and then die.
Yeah, that's fine with me. And then I'm if I can, I'd like to try and recover his body because we have like basically like reanimation chambers of some sort.
Right.
So we try and bring it back to life. But
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, I think basically what happens is you all manage to cling to the side there, and then like there's a moment where he's like it's all malfunctioning for him, and because he has the nanoswarm physique, but he's not from the race, so he doesn't even know how to use it really, and
okay,
so
yeah.
he's been really uncomfortable with like all the technology for the whole time we've known him, and so he doesn't quite make it. And I think what happens maybe is either you or Nissa, whoever you think makes more sense, like grabs his hand. But like it's just not enough, and he like slips out of it because everyone's so slick with sweat at this point.
Right.
That
I think
it's
it's
just like-
probably Nissa. I think that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Especially because I wouldn't be able to hold them at all.
Yeah, and he like falls and he's screaming into the abyss, and then he just disappears. And Nissa just like swears vulgarly under her breath and just says, "That idiot!" Ugh! And like pulls herself up on the ledge, sort of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I don't know if there's like a requirement for the reanimation thing. Like it has to be a certain amount of time or whatever. I have to look at that. But,
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I mean, what's the
yeah.
current kind of situation here? How do you want to try to get out now?
Geez, yeah. I mean, I guess we just have to keep taking whatever route we think will take us back up to the surface because we
Yeah.
don't really have any other option. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's see
Unless
here.
Azimuth is mad and is trying to get us lost, so we need to take the route that'll take us to the core. Because then it'll pop us out on the surface instead.
Well, and actually, it might pop us out anywhere because that's another thing about Azimuth is it apparently has access to like the dark parts of the planet and other places, which
It's
is
true.
fun. So
Oh.
could just end up anywhere.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, which I think might actually be a cool way to do it, like a cool thing to happen. But,
Yeah. Do you want to say that?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, basically what happens is you guys are just like, and it's literally like you're so overheating that like you're barely able to move at this point. You've lost so much water. You're so dehydrated that it's literally like you're barely moving at this point, and you still have no idea where you are. You're lost in this place, and then suddenly you're walking through these like tunnels, right? And suddenly it goes from this like blinding ghostly white to just pure blackness,
Yeah.
like in a blink. And then it's freezing cold in comparison.
Right. Awesome.
And you guys are basically stuck in, You've entered the world of shadows inadvertently.
Well, Doctor, I don't think we're at Azimuth anymore.
Yeah, and that's probably where we end the session, right? It's like you guys are stuck in.
For some reason, the Doctor's wearing a black dog costume.
Yeah.
Anything is possible in the world of darkness.
Awesome.
Actually, what's more likely is that B forgets to get eaten and C forgets the chains. We wipe on Cerberus twice before everybody remembers.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and do the zoom out stuff. I realized that we should have done it for the first time as well. For Carly. So we'll do it.
I have to go.
Okay.
So can we just real quick do any like needs impacts on what we just did, and then I have to get off.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of if there.
Because the idea was now we don't have needs for medicine, right? Because we've destroyed all the machine.
Yes, but the thing is, you have to get back with like the device and
wasn't
stuff.
The point, if this wasn't the point of the signal going out that it killed the nanomachines that were causing the problem?
Yes, you're right. Yeah, even with the transmitter, yeah, it would have solved the problem. Yes, you can get rid of that. Yeah, makes sense. Yep.
I think that's probably it, right?
I believe so.
Excellent. And then, is there anything else you need from me before?
No, I don't think so because your main character was in both of the things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
you're good.
Awesome. Sorry to have to go out
You're
early.
good.
But...
Yeah. Do you want to just leave it on for a second? Could you do that or no?
How long do you think you guys will be?
Not that long. We just have to do the zoom out stuff real quick and then we're done.
That's fine. You can do that.
Okay. And I'll just end the call and it will cut everybody off once, so you probably won't have to touch it again. Okay, cool. Yeah, awesome.
Thanks. See you guys.
Adios.
Thank you.
So zooming out, when events move from zoomed-in scenes to the bigger picture and actions covering weeks and months to become more important, each player whose main character wasn't involved picks one. So Horror Hell, you get to pick two of these because you've been in, basically you had two scenes that you weren't a part of. This is in story moves, by the way. And then Episciadzos, you can choose one from these zooming out options and story moves. They found a new place in their family, they went scavenging in the wasteland, they scouted for information, they helped out another family or faction, or they discovered a new danger.
All right, so for
do anything.
What were you saying, Carl?
Like, what if they didn't do any of these things?
Did Horror Hell just do nothing then?
I mean, like, I know what he's gonna do in the next session, but, like, none of these have anything to do with...
What is he going to do in the next section?
Well, he's gonna try to convince the leaders of the Forgotten Heralds that they should up their morale, basically.
Right. I mean, one thing that I can think of is that they helped out another family or faction, right? Like, you're helping the Hellbreakers right now, so you can get one treat on them. And technically, you could just do that twice if you wanted to, right? And just get two treaty. If you can't think of anything
you
else.
could also do discover a lead that might give you a surplus or remove a need and get more
that's
data.
true. Yeah,
And
you
then
get
you'd
one
have-
data towards that. Like,
Because that could be, it could be any piece of something, whether that's research or it's, talking to people or figuring something out will get you one data going into that next goal.
Yeah. Want to do both of those?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yep. I'll add those for you. Yeah. What do you want to do, Episciadzos?
So I think Episciadzos. What did I have him do? I had something picked out for him, and no, it's not making sense anymore. So I want to say that the new harmony has begun covertly helping the Hellbreakers in their
Okay.
messaging, and then their not messaging, but like they've been kind of probably got their propaganda arm working
Yeah.
on disseminating stuff to try to drum up support for the spark, as it were.
Cool.
I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
Riva?
Riva, thank you. Yeah, so I think they're kind of silently working on drumming up support for Riva.
So they helped out another family or faction?
Yep.
Nice. All right, so that means the New Harmony gets one more treaty on the Hellbreakers. So you now have 3 on them.
Mm-hmm.
And
fully expect to start spending that soon.
yeah, you could be interested in them. And then let's see, what do we say? The Forgotten Heralds also get 1 on the Hellbreakers. They also have 3 on the Hellbreakers now. Cool. And then the Forgotten Heralds get appointed data. Good stuff. That was a fun session. A lot of fun stuff happened.
Yeah.
Your doctor character was ridiculous and awesome.
Thank you.
It'll be interesting to see where this goes next because we have something that's like going on in the immediate. So we might come back to that. We might jump to something else, and yeah, I'm curious to see where we go from here. Awesome. I think that's it. This has been the Hellbreaker Sequence. Adios.